Prague is about to change the way you move around the city. Trams are coming back to Wenceslav Square, parking rules have changed so many times, and congestion charge, which is a fee to enter to the city, could soon cost drivers 200 crowns every day. Cities like London, Milan or Berlin have already been through the same transformation. The real question is Prague following the right example or making a mistake? We are on Havlíčkova Street. And this used to be a regular road for cars until it was turned into pedestrian zone. So if you want to go from Napoříčí to Hybernská Street, you have to go with your car all around through Magistrala, already putting more pressure onto the bottleneck which Magistrala is. This is just one example of Prague limiting car access to the city center. You might also notice that on the lower part of Wenceslav Square there is no cars anymore, and it used to be. On another note, the parking for electrical cars, they have a discount of 50% for their parking permits. Hybrid cars though, they don't. It's a fun fact because they used to have a free parking or a discount. These days, it's for a full price because Prague kind of overestimated the amount of hybrid cars there are, and they're like, no, guys, you're paying the full price. Behind me is Republic Square, and it's a square with no cars, which is great, and brings me to the tolls. There is no law yet, and I want to be straight about that. The ex-mayor Hřib himself said that it doesn't have a legal basis right now, but the plan he was talking about is quite clear. It's to implement a fee of 200 crowns to come into the city center. Wenceslav Square, Smetanovo nábřeží, places like this. I mean, yeah, you can see tourists who clearly don't know that this place is... Well, I was just saying about the fact that there are cars not allowed, well, and the police was pretty quick to interfere with that. Anyway, if you want to enter into the city center by the new rules, it should cost up to 200 crowns for everyone who is not a resident, who doesn't have a business here, and the livery services, they will have a spatial system to follow. Here is the big picture. Prague is not banning cars overnight, but what they're doing is similar to other European cities. They're making it more and more uncomfortable for the drivers to pass through. And Prague is genuinely behind on this. So let's talk about other European cities and how they handle it. Oh, and if you're planning to buy a property in Prague or anywhere in the Czech Republic, I'm sure you could use a bit more of free information provided by someone who has done it hundreds of times. I'm going to do a webinar right for you. It's going to be on 8th of September, 6 p.m. So mark the date, check the link in the description, and just register not to miss the updates. I have 3 cities with 3 different models. Each one handled this differently, and each one got different results. Well, Berlin was the first in Germany in 2008. The system works on stickers. You put a colored code badge on your windshield and based on your engine's emission standard. Green means you can enter the zone, red or yellow means you can't. No daily charge, no cameras, reading plates, just a badge. It reduced pollution, and today Germany has over 80 environmental zones. It's the most widespread model in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. But here's the catch. It requires changing national legislation. In Czech Republic, that means amending the law on road transport, which is why Prague still doesn't have one. Milan did something different. Area C, introduced in 2012 after a referendum where 79% of Milanese voted yes. Well, the vote mattered because when the cameras went put up, people already knew about it. You pay 750 euros a day to drive into 8 square kilometers in the historical center. Cameras read your plate automatically. And the results were clear. Congestion down 28%, accidents down 24%, black carbon pollution down 30%. Well, and the revenue went back into public transport. Milan is the closest model to what Prague is actually discussing. London went furthest. The ultra-low emission zone covers all of Greater London, over 1,500 square kilometers, and if your vehicle doesn't meet the emission standards, you pay £12.50 a day. On top of that, there is a separate congestion charge for the central London, another £18 a day just for entering. Well, combined for an older car, you're in for £30, 900 crowns per day. Well, the traffic dropped though by 13,500 cars a day, pollution down, down and London finally hit the air targets they were aiming for decades. But politically it was a disaster. The mayor received the death threats and the system became a proxy for a culture war. Surrounding counties refused to put the cameras on their roads. It dominated a nation by-election. Critics said the £500 million collected since 2023 proved it was always about money, not the air. Well, the environmental case was solid, but the political execution is a warning. Oh, by the way, and if you want to buy or sell real estate, you could definitely use some free information from people who've done it hundreds of times. So right for you, I created a PDF guide for buying or selling real estate. The link is in the description. So is Prague actually different? The math says no, 1 car for every 1.1 residents right now. Cars in Prague are growing faster than the people, and trams and metro are already at record numbers. At some point, the center physically can't absorb more vehicles, the roads can't get bigger, so something else has to give up. But the politics say something else entirely. There is no real consensus that the city needs to change. And Czechs, I say it as a Czech, don't love to be told what to do. Any systems that feels imposed rather than chosen will face a serious resistance. Milan worked because people voted for it first. London struggled because nobody really asked in advance. Here is what I find frustrating about Prague right now. The city is essentially doing the worst version of this. A pedestrian zone here, around about there, parking rules which are changing. So it's not making it clearer, and if we don't really know what's happening, it creates a friction. So it would be better if the city comes with a clear plan and don't struggle from political discussions. But yay! The city is halfway between two worlds, and that's the most uncomfortable place to be. If you ask about my personal opinion about the traffic in a city center, yes, I would regulate it a bit. I mean, I am generally aligned with Mr. Hřib's suggestion about fee into the city center, but one more caveat, I would very much like to see more of the sharing cars, like Anytime or Car4Way or even Bolt sharing services, because what good is your car if 90% of the time it's just staying on the pavement or on the street? If the car can be shared, like in a shared economy, I believe this will remove a big portion of the traffic in the city center, or I mean the cars being around. What do you think is the future of cars in European cities and specifically in Prague? Well, personally, I hope it will be a bit regulated and we will see less cars and more sharings, but I'm curious, what do you think? By the way, my name is Robin. I'm founder of Expats Finance and we help foreigners with buying, selling and understanding Prague property market. If you have any questions, feel free to drop down in the comments, subscribe or just get in touch. See you in the next video.